Well, we've reached the final regular season weekend of high school football. We've got state soccer tournament action coming up tomorrow in a couple of different locations. District volleyball is underway with semifinals tonight and a couple of coaching changes. A lot to talk about here. You're listening to Fanfare High School Extra right here on 630 The Fan. Hi again, everybody. Wayne Dzubak along with Dave Burnett. And as I mentioned, Dave, there is a lot going on as we get deep into the season now.
There is. As the weather begins to turn too, we start seeing, the cooler evenings for football games. Basketball is just around the corner. All of the fall sports wrapping up. So it's a busy time of year in high school sports.
Hard to kind of believe that we're right there at the end of the high school football season. We're talking about the last weekend of regular season play. And it's kind of a mumbo-jumbo mess as to when everybody's going to play this week, because here in the Valley, anyway, Boise State is playing BYU Friday night. And so a couple games have been moved to Thursday. Some have decided to go ahead and play up against the BSU Broncos. And some have decided to move it to Saturday.
Yeah, we last week did a Thursday night game where we had Rocky Mountain and Centennial, which kind of set my whole weekend in a funny rhythm. And now we're going to do it again this week. We're not going to be there Friday to go up against BSU. And obviously they don't schedule high school games for Dona Larsen Park on Friday. So they've moved one game to Saturday afternoon. And really, Wayne, it's going to be the only game in town.
Yeah, it's a huge game. 2 4-0 teams in pod play. Capital taking on Rocky Mountain. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk with both head coaches. But first, let's talk about the football polls across the state. And it looks like the Highland Rams now at 8-0 continue to be number one in 5A.
Yep, and there's another team that's 8-0 in their play this season. They're not number one, but they're number two, and that would be the Eagle Mustangs.
Lake City, Capital, Coeur d'Alene round out the top 5 in 5A. And Highland, by the way, they beat Hillcrest 24-7, Hillcrest out of Idaho Falls on Friday night. So it continued to look pretty strong.
Now, my question comes, I don't understand the 4A polls at all. They just make no sense to me at all, the top 5 teams.
Yeah, you and I were talking about it, and you mentioned Middleton was number 3, and I said, well, Middleton just lost 28-20,
yes,
or 28-8 to Bishop Kelly. Why would they be number 3? But you've got Blackfoot number 1, BK number 2. No problem with that. Then it gets kind of funky with Middleton, Cuna, and Lakeland.
Yep, all 6-2 teams. So I would assume that there's maybe some 6-1, 7-1 teams out there going, hey, what about us? But nonetheless, that's the way the media votes. I have to say right up front, Wayne, you and I, we don't get a vote.
Yeah, we're not in there voting, but that's what you got there. Blackfoot number 1, Highland number 1 as we go into this final weekend of regular season play. Let's take a look at the 5A SIC, and we take a look at Pod A. Capital and Rocky, our game Saturday. Both teams right now at 4-0 in pod play. Really, they're making a big deal out of this. This is a big game for both those teams.
Well, it is a big game, and I said it's the only game in town, and the reason I say that is there's no Vandal game this weekend. They have a bye. Boise State, they'll be done and gone on Friday night. So that leaves Saturday. And, boy, what a great showcase for what we figured at the start of the season. We figured these would be the two teams battling it out in this first pod, and it's exactly where we thought it would be.
And you got a good game Friday night. Got to mention that Eagles playing Mountain View at Mountain View. Yep. Both those teams are 4-0. So it's come right down to the last week of the regular season, and boom, you got 4 teams, 4-0, and they're playing each other.
Yeah, so maybe the pod system, maybe it's working. Maybe that way, you got 4 teams that are right in the thick of it, and so maybe whoever thought up this pod system, maybe they weren't so crazy after all.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on this week. Of course, Thursday night, all the games start, and we've got Napa taking on Bora and Timberline playing at Centennial. Timberline's had that kind of up and down year. They lost to Bora the other day and on a Saturday game, and it's kind of interesting. Tyus Zimmerman in that game had 22 carries for 188 yards, Dave. Hard to see how you lose a game when you've got a running back with 188 rushing yards.
Yeah, and Timberline started out the season undefeated. Everybody going, whoa, what's going on here? And then, like you said, they hit that rough patch in the middle of the season, won a couple, lost a couple.
Well, they started off 5-0.
Yep.
And now they've lost 3 straight, so they're 5-3 overall, 1-3 in conference play. So a couple of Thursday games, and then on Friday, guys are going to buck the trend and go up against the Broncos. Boise will be at Columbia, Eagle at Mountain View, and Meridian at Valley View. And again, that Eagle Mountain View game, a big game with 2 4-0 teams.
Yeah, so that will be big. But I have to point out that Meridian Valley View, for Valley View, very important. Valley View does have a chance chance to, advance on. So that's a huge game for Valley View. That'd be the first time they advance into postseason play in quite a few years.
Yeah, they're sitting right there at 2-2 in pod play, right behind Eagle and Mountain View with those 4-0 records. And as you said, Meridian also 2-2.
Yeah.
So, whoever wins that game, that's going to be the difference.
Yep, that is a big game. So you got several really big games on the docket starting on Thursday, running Friday, and then again to our Saturday game.
Yep, Saturday, Rocky Mountain Capital. That's at 2 o'clock, Dona Larsen Park. We'll have the pregame at 1:30. And as always, we'll have streaming video on 630thefan.com. Also on Saturday, there is a Bishop Kelly game. Bishop Kelly is going to take on Skyview. That should be interesting. Skyview at 3-1 in league play. Bishop Kelly 4-0. Now, Skyview overall is 4-4, so they're kind of a team that you don't know what to expect. And, of course, BK at 7-1. They've been pretty consistent all year long. But still, another nice game, nice regular season ending game for a showdown.
And in the Bishop Kelly game that we watched when they took on CUNA, they started out really rough. They had a tough start. Their defense kept them in that game until their offense finally got their legs under them. So, Skyview hoping to get that jump and maybe get the jump on their defense as well.
Well, it's come down to the finals of the week. I mean, it's been an exciting year, and really, but it's also been a predictable year because at the beginning of the year we thought Capital or Rocky, Eagle, and Mountain View would all be pretty good, and there they are, all in pod play undefeated.
Yep, as they continue to roll toward the postseason. So we're going to see how that postseason sets up with the divisions and the play that'll be coming up right after regular season wraps up this week.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention, Timberline playing at Centennial at 7 o'clock on Thursday night. Centennial is going to roll out the carpet for Lee Newman, who'd been there for 26 years. They're going to honor him for all he did for Centennial.
Yeah, he'll be the honorary captain for the game against Timberline. They're going to give him a plaque before the game. Of course, he resigned back in May after 26 years.
Yep.
That's a long time to be there. Quite the career. Dates to the day that the school opened up, including 24 years as the head coach. So he was an assistant for a couple of years there. Newman led the school to a 168-83 record, 18 state playoff appearances, 5 championship games, and 3 state titles in 96, 99, and in 2003. By the way, still teaches math at the school.
By the way, can he get one? I don't care about all that stuff. 18 state tournament. I don't care about that, Dave. Can he get him a victory on Thursday night? Can he do it?
Well, we watched Centennial last week, and, a team that wouldn't quit. I mean, they would not quit. You got to give it to the coach there and to the crew. They kept going and fighting, but the Rocky Mountain was too much. So maybe Newman's presence there will help him get that magic win at the end of the season.
We'll see what happens. Timberline Centennial could be interesting tomorrow night.
Yep, we are going to take a quick break in the program. When we come back, going to hear from the head coaches at Capital High School and at Rocky Mountain, see what they have to say about this Saturday matchup. You talk about taking kids out of their rhythm. I mean, they're used to Friday night, going to school, getting out of school early, getting on the bus, going to the games. Now you got kids who are going to be sleeping in on Saturday and, maybe watching too many cartoons and eating too much Frosted Flakes, getting ready for a 2 o'clock Saturday game. It'll be very different for them. So we'll find out a little bit more about their thoughts as the game approaches for Saturday. I'm Dave Burnett along with Wayne Dzubak. It's your High School Extra here on Sports Radio 630, The Fan.
It's a Wednesday, and welcome back, everybody, to Fanfare High School Extra. Wayne Dzubak, Dave Burnett with you. We've been talking high school football. We're going to get to soccer because we got a lot of soccer to talk about, and we got some volleyball to talk about, some semifinal matches coming up as volleyball's in the district play, Dave, and state soccer, of course, starts in Idaho Falls for both 5A, and a lot of representation from the Treasure Valley, so a lot to talk about yet.
Yep. We are going to talk about football. Before we start in on this week's game for us, I do want to make mention there was one high school change in coaching this week. Mountain Home High School coach Aaron Rodney is not even going to finish the season. I always find that odd. We have one game left in the season and you're done. I've never understood that. But Mountain Home Athletic Director Mark Cotton, he confirmed this earlier in the week that offensive coordinator Tyrone Hutchings will take over as the interim coach after Friday's 56-7 loss to CUNA.
Yeah, Rodney was 2-23 in his time there at Mountain Home, and I guess the athletic director figured, you know what, no sense waiting for the final game of the year. Let's do it now and make a change and see what happens. I don't know. Maybe just hoping to get win number 2 on the year, because right now Mountain Home is 1-7.
Yep. So Mountain Home, a bit of a change in coaching there. Always tough for a coach to go out. Tough for the kids, who pledge their loyalty early on in the season, and then to see their coach go, even when you're 1-7. Tough thing for a team to see.
So much changes during the year, and we saw that kind of when we did the game last week when we watched Rocky Mountain play. Ryan Beard started at quarterback, and he's a lefty. He plays baseball. He has got a rocket for an arm, and we didn't expect it, but because we didn't know he was back. But there he was. We hadn't seen him for a while. He's back. That is the way Scott Kreiner wanted to start the year, with him there, but he couldn't because he was injured. He injured his knee during the offseason and just got back. But it really gave a whole different look to Rocky Mountain. They had a great passing game, and that really seemed to open up their running game, Dave.
I think whenever I look at Rocky and all the teams we have seen over the past several years, Rocky Mountain runs a complex offense, a lot of shifting, a lot of motion, a lot of players coming and going. I mean, they don't just play 12, 13 guys on offense. You probably have 25, 30 guys getting involved in the offense. So Coach Kreiner there has it very complex. So if you're trying to take them on as a defense, you got a lot to prepare for, and then you throw a quarterback back in that you weren't expecting in there. That just makes everything a surprise.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on. But the only thing he's not sure of, he knows he's got great offensive players. His defense is playing well right now. But Scott Kreiner told me the one thing he's not sure about is playing a game Saturday at 2. It's not something they've ever done before. Here's what he had to say when I asked him about playing Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I hope not. I mean, our kids have been pretty resilient to change and adjustments as we've had to make them. I know they're excited about it because it feels like the college atmosphere and a college feeling. It'll be the only game in town, and hopefully the place is packed and everybody's rocking.
So Scott Kreiner not too sure exactly what to expect, but as he puts it, they're the only game in town. It's like a college atmosphere. He hopes the place is packed. He thinks it's going to be a really good showdown.
I think it's a great opportunity. If you're listening now, if you have not had a chance to come out and watch high school football, maybe your kids are out of school, you've gotten out of it, $5 is what it costs for adults to get in at Dona Larsen Park. Seniors, I think, is
$2.
Just $2.
I know
seniors.
that
is $2 for seniors.
I have that down pat.
The weather's going to be nice. Going to be sunny. Going to be a nice day out there, around 60 degrees. So we invite you to come on out, watch 2 of the best teams in the Treasure Valley, and just pick a side. Rocky will be on the north side, and Capital, the home team, will be on the south side. So pick a team and come watch some great high school football. It's a good $5 investment.
All right, Todd Simmons over at Capital, the head coach there. You talk about a guy that's really excited about this game. His team is already in. They're 7-1. They know they're in. They're going to get into the playoffs, but they're looking for a bye, Dave. They want that bye, and they've got maybe the best quarterback in the state. So when you talk about coming out and seeing a good game, you can come out and see a guy named Connor Polson, who everybody agrees. And I was standing next to Connor at practice the other day, and I'm looking at him, and he could play linebacker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's that kind of a player. He can play every position on the football field. So I tell you what, he's the best in the state, and you get a chance to see somebody like that.
He truly is a great athlete. Plays basketball as well. He and Tariq Littlejohn. You'll see that combination a lot coming up on Saturday, passing to Tariq Littlejohn.
And here's what Todd Simmons had to say about what's at stake. Remember, if Capital wins, they can get a bye and watch everybody else duke it out. Here's what he had to say, because there's a couple of other things at stake in this game.
We're in, but it's we want that bye. I mean, we want to win the pod, so it's huge. And just for bragging rights, we want to. I think this would be our 8th in 11 years here, our 8th SIC championship or division championship. So, we're telling the kids this is a city championship, SIC championship, and we want to win. We're in a fortunate position. We know we're in the playoffs, but we want to have a bye. We want to be able to watch everybody duke it out the following Friday, and because then it really is do or die. And it's pretty cool.
Todd Simmons talking about what's at stake in this game on Saturday, and you heard the byes there, an SIC championship, a city championship. I mean, they're making this into a big deal.
It is, and I am really looking forward to a Saturday high school football game. I mean, college has messed with Friday night, so high school may as well mess with Saturday. And again, it's the only game in town going on. Vandals, obviously here on the Fan, we carry the Vandals. They have a bye. They're not going to be involved. NASCAR is racing on Sunday, so you don't have that. BSU will be done. There'll be after BYU and that game, that's on Friday night. So there's nothing else going on in town. Inviting you to come on down and enjoy it. If you can't come down, we will do streaming. Now, somebody asked the other day about it, said, so you're streaming, you can watch the game on the computer? And I said, yes. It's not bad. We have one camera, but they zoom in and follow the plays. And really want to encourage you, if you have a loved one who lives out of town, maybe one of the players on the team or the coaches, and you have family who live out of town, tell them to go to 630thefan.com. It'll be on the big slider up at the top, and you just click on that, click one more time, and the streaming's there, the audio's there, and pretty good quality, and the broadcast, well, it's you and I, so, they get what they pay for. Because
exactly.
It is free.
Yeah.
It's absolutely free.
I knew where you were going with that. I could see it in your eyes.
But it's a good time, and just inviting you. If you're not listening to the radio, listen and or watch on your computer.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, just give us a listen on 630 The Fan, and we'll be there if you're out and about on Saturday. So 2 o'clock kickoff, 1:30 pregame, Capital, Rocky Mountain, 2 4-0 teams in Pop Play. Should be a dandy.
Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about volleyball. They are at that point of the postseason. Soccer, the same thing going on. They are at postseason. And a couple other things we'll mention as well as far as high school activities going on. Basketball's right around the corner. We will continue on the other side. Want to thank our sponsors who are involved with us in high school sports this year. Let's see, we have Satellite Systems, Boise Muffler, Pro Image, MyBullfrog.com, Mountain West Bank. All sponsors, and we just thank them for their commitment to these kids, trying to get them some extra attention. A lot of times, everybody wants to talk about, Shane Williams Road, or they want to talk about Jay Giant, and that's great. But the local kids sometimes get overlooked, and that's what we're all about, taking care of the high school kids. We'll continue on the other side here on Sports Radio 630, The Fan.
You are listening to Fanfare High School Extra right here on 630 The Fan. Wayne Dzubak, Dave Burnett with you. Welcome back, everybody. And it's time to talk a little volleyball and soccer. State soccer tournaments getting ready over in Idaho Falls, up in Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene as well for 4A. But first, let's talk a little volleyball because the district tournament just got started this week. And we've got 3 teams that were 14-2, and one of them lost last night. Valley View beat Eagle.
I told you to watch out for those Falcons.
Yeah, Valley View really got in there. So Valley View beat Eagle last night. So that means that Eagle's got to kind of play its way back into this thing through the losers bracket with the game tonight.
Yeah, for Valley View last night, Kayla Seeley had 12 kills, 17 digs as Valley View down top-seeded Eagle.
So Valley View's going to state, and they're going to be in a semifinal game, and that's coming up again tonight against Centennial. That's the other 14-2 team. So you've got Valley View going against Centennial tonight. Both those teams, trying to get to state. Eagle trying to play its way in. So it's a dogfight out there.
Mustangs will have to face Rocky Mountain for the opportunity to get in there. Winner will clinch a state berth. So huge games.
And you know how Eagle and Rocky Mountain get along. So
they love each other.
That should be fantastic. So looking forward to that. And, of course, that semifinal game is tonight. So that is something that's going on right now.
Yep. Some 4A action for you. Middleton defeated Mountain Home 3-0. So Middleton plays third-seeded Kuhn at 7 o'clock tonight. A winner will clinch a berth to the state playing game on Saturday at 1 o'clock. And that game will be in Mountain Home. Mountain Home now has been eliminated.
And the championship game, of course, they've already got that decided. It's going to be Skyview against Bishop Kelly.
Yep.
So that's all already figured out. Those guys both going to state. So they've got that there. So volleyball well on its way to state. But I think that's interesting in 5A, what they've got going there with the 3 teams that are 14-2 and just kind of beating each other up a little bit.
And I told you to watch for Valley View Falcons. They play well, and they took Mustang to task and not only beat them 3-0.
Yeah, trying to figure out what it is about Valley View. I mean, that volleyball team is always very good.
Yeah, I'm figuring it has to be coaching because they're consistently good year after year after year.
And that's a tough sport. If you ever watched that, and really taking a look at that.
If it's played right, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even want to be a part of it. They start, going after. I mean, when you start saying you do stats that you've got digs and kills, that's not a game for me.
Any sport with digs and
digs and kills.
That's good. Yeah, for me, it's.
I'm okay.
I'll set my beer down, come in and play it, guys. That's my volleyball. Hey, somebody knocked my beer over.
I like it. All right, let's talk about soccer because we got state soccer going on, and the 5A's over in Idaho Falls. They play that right next to the airport, right next to Fanning Field. You're playing soccer there, and they've got like 5 or 6 fields right alongside of each other, and the planes are taking off, and it's always fun just sitting there. The game gets boring, you can watch the planes take off.
Well, believe it or not, when I was growing up, I played City League in Portland, and we played at Delta Park, and it's right at the airport, so these jets would take off over us while we were playing the whole time, so it's good practice for them.
Well, what's interesting is that there are 8 opening round games, and all 8 games, I'm talking boys 4, girls 4, have Treasure Valley teams involved. And in fact, there's one Treasure Valley showdown in 5A boys. So
they had to travel to go do it.
Yeah, the Treasure Valley is really well represented. So it all starts tomorrow morning. Lake City taking on Centennial at 11 o'clock, and also at 11, Boise with Madison. Now, Boise, they're the district champs. The Boise girls are the district champs as well. Favored to win over there, but you've got a lot of pressure on Boise coming back. I mean, the fact that they are 14-3-3 on the year, Boise, blows me away when they lost 16, 17 seniors a year ago, and they had such a young team this year, but they've done a great job.
Obviously, again, a very well-coached team that you can take and plug guys in and do so well.
And then at 2 o'clock tomorrow, Idaho Falls takes on Timberline in the opening round, and Bora faces Mountain View. So you've got 2 really good teams there, and again, Bora and Mountain View traveling all the way across the state to kind of get this thing going, But Mountain View had to play in for that game, and they did.
Well, I guess for the kids, they like to travel, so to go travel to play people from up the street, they're fine with that.
Now, 5A girls state tournament play also in Idaho Falls. You've got Lake City against Eagle. That game at 11 o'clock, also at 11. Boise playing Madison. So both Boise schools, boys and girls, got a Madison team to play. And again, the Boise girls, just 18-0-1, undefeated, unreal season. Can they win 3 more and go undefeated for the season, do 21-0-1?
Wow.
That would be a phenomenal season.
Huge accomplishment.
I don't think, Dave, I've ever heard of a season like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is for the record books if they do, because that is just tough to win that many games over and over. I don't care, how good or bad the competition is, just to stay consistent.
Yep. And then in the afternoon game, Skyline against Centennial, Rocky Mountain against Coeur d'Alene, those games at 2 o'clock. And again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. 4A, by the way, is up in Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, and it's kind of interesting that you've got Skyview and Bishop Kelly having to travel all the way to Post Falls High School to play a game at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's even worse than having to go to Idaho Falls to play a game. But they're all the way to Post Falls so they could play a game that they've played each other before.
That is a long way. We will try to keep you up to date on those scores with your Fanfare update as we get more information. Of course, tonight's scores will be able to keep you up to date on those, what happens in volleyball and in soccer.
So a lot of things going on. It's a busy time of year, and it looks like the weather's going to hold out just for another week or so.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate with the weather. A couple of things to note. One is in high school tennis. Boise High School senior Bianca Mock is committed to play tennis at the University of Denver. It's a Division I program. Mock is 3-time defending 5A state champion in the girls singles.
The other thing that's kind of interesting to know is that Bishop Kelly's named a new basketball coach, and it's really a weird situation. I can't figure this out. It's kind of like, so Ryan Kearns was named the head coach. Bishop Kelly hired Scott Berry in June.
Yes.
But then Berry, who, couldn't find a real job.
A full-time job.
And so they gave him a week to do it. Berry was given until Wednesday to find, but he couldn't. So they said,
tough.
You're out.
That is really tough on the kids who are expecting this to be your coach. And on the guy, it's like, I got to find something. And just couldn't find full-time
So
work.
Ryan Kearns, who is also the soccer coach, was named the head coach. And, of course, he's got to get it done with the soccer season before he can take over basketball. But just a weird situation, So I guess these basketball high school coaches don't make as much money as I thought they did.
Nope. And Larry Crump, by the way, is a guy who stepped down last spring after 10 years as head basketball coach. So, in fact, if we get a chance to talk to Bishop Kelly's athletic director, I really would like to see what goes into finding a basketball coach. Because you got to find somebody who, here's a case where not on staff. Sometimes they are, they're a math teacher or whatever. But obviously here, there was no staff position, but they were going to hire him to come in and coach. what goes into a search. It's not like a college where you're going, yeah, would you accept $4 million a year to come coach here?
Right, and we'll build the house for you.
Yeah, and we'll have a driver pick you up. So it's not like, a Division I college. What is it that goes into hiring a football or a basketball coach? And I'd like to kind of find out more about that in that process, because in some ways it seems like it should be an easy deal, but it really isn't.
Well, it's like David Cook, the Centennial coach. He actually is a teacher at Rocky Mountain, but then the other night they had to play Rocky Mountain, you know, and he's going against him. So you go to school, I mean, you don't even have anybody there give you a little pat in the back saying it'll be okay.
Yeah, all of the players really don't even want to talk to you.
Exactly.
I don't want him as a teacher. He'll keep me out of the game.
Yeah, he will.
So we'll try to keep you up to date on our Fanfare Extra, what's happening. And a reminder again, Saturday, 2 o'clock, our game of the week. It's Rocky Mountain and Capital at DLP.
All right. Sounds good to me. You want to sign us off?
I will do that.
We're done, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I'll do that by saying that Nate Kreckman is coming up next. We have This Week in the Mountain West here on Sports Radio 630, The Fan.